Each of us faces moments when procrastination and laziness take over. We put things off, waste time on pointless activities, and can't find the energy to get into action. This is familiar to everyone. Social networks, endless watching videos, fast food, games, alcohol, all these habits, it would seem, should bring pleasure, but in fact, they only distract us from important tasks and goals. How to get rid of these addictions and get on the path of self-development? The Stoics, the philosophers of ancient Rome, who teach us to live in harmony with ourselves and the world, can give us answers. Today, we'll look at how to use their wisdom to overcome laziness, procrastination, and bad habits. This path is not easy, but it is possible. It's time to take control of your life and become the best version of yourself. Part 1. Understanding your nature and recognizing the problem. The first step to getting rid of laziness and bad habits is to understand the very nature of these problems. The Stoics argued that many of our suffering and addictions come from our misperception of reality. We often seek happiness in things that actually bring only temporary satisfaction. Instead of seeking inner harmony, we become consumed with external pleasures and illusions. Epictetus said that we cannot control external circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them. Addictions and procrastination are not something external that we cannot change. They are a consequence of our wrong approach to life. We put temporary pleasures above what is really important, and we lose control because of it. If we recognize that our goal is long-term happiness, not instant gratification, we could break these addictions more easily. Laziness, procrastination, and addictions to social media, fast food, or alcohol are not external enemies. They are our internal state. They are weaknesses that we feed and encourage ourselves. Stoics teach us discipline and self-control, which means we need to be honest with ourselves and recognize that we ourselves are allowing these habits to dominate our lives. When we recognize this problem, comes the first step toward a solution. Part 2. Developing inner strength and self-discipline. The second important idea of Stoicism is the development of inner strength. All the Stoics, from Seneca to Marcus Aurelius, emphasize the importance of self-discipline. To defeat laziness and bad habits, one must not only recognize their problem, but also develop willpower. This means learning to do what you need to do, despite any external and internal temptations. The most important thing is to set clear goals and stick to them. The Stoics taught that our lives do not depend on what happens around us, but on how we react to what happens. When we begin to act with clear intention and persistence, we set the stage for breaking negative habits. If we continually put things off, it's only the result of our internal agreement with laziness. But if we resolve to take action every day, despite our resistance, we can defeat procrastination. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that we can only control our thoughts and actions. We can't change the world around us, but we can change our inner world, and that is the most important thing. The Stoics do not call for giving up pleasures, but they do teach that we must control those pleasures rather than letting them control us. Creating discipline starts with small steps. When we set a goal for ourselves, we must act without procrastination, and each time we make choices about what is really important to our development. Part 3. Accepting limitations and minimalism. Stoics also teach us to accept our limitations and live according to them. We all have a limited amount of time, energy, and resources. If we try to keep up with all the pleasures and desires, we will never succeed in the long run. Minimalism is a key idea of Stoicism that can help us break bad habits and addictions. Seneca said in his writings that we often pursue things that will not bring us real happiness. He emphasized that it is important to give up the unnecessary, to focus on what is truly important. We can apply this principle to our lives. If we learn to give up what doesn't matter, we make room for what really contributes to our development. This also applies to our habits. We can give up unnecessary content on social media, reduce our consumption of fast food, cut back on time spent playing video games, and replace these activities with something more rewarding. Accepting our limitations and saying no to unnecessary things will help us focus on what is really important. Part 4. The power of habit and creating a new lifestyle. One of the keys to combating procrastination and addictions is to create new, healthy habits. The Stoics emphasize the importance of forming the right habits to achieve inner harmony. We can change our lives by making the right choices every day, even if those choices seem difficult. Often we don't realize how much time is wasted on useless activities. It is important to replace them with something more meaningful. For example, instead of spending time watching videos on social media, we can devote it to reading philosophical books or playing sports. We must be prepared that change will require effort, but it will be rewarded with a sense of inner satisfaction and harmony. Marcus Aurelius also said that not only willpower is important, but also consistency in action. Habits are things we do on a daily basis. If we take small steps every day, we will soon see those steps lead to big results. Part 5. Completing the journey and continuing to improve yourself. The final step in the fight against laziness and bad habits is continuous improvement. The Stoics teach us that our lives are a constant process of becoming and self-improvement. Defeating addictions and procrastination is not the end goal, but only a step on the way to a better version of ourselves. An important point: we can't achieve the ideal, but we can strive for it. Every day, every choice is an opportunity to become better. Stoics emphasize that what is important is not to achieve perfection, but to strive for it. We will all make mistakes, but it is important not to stop and keep moving forward. Conclusion: to get rid of laziness, procrastination, and addictions, we need to change not only our habits, but also our lifestyle. The Stoics give us the tools to do this: inner discipline, realizing our goals, and accepting our limitations. Let the wisdom of the Stoics be your guide in the struggle for a better life, filled with meaning and harmony. Ending: the path of self-improvement is never easy, but it is always possible. By applying the wisdom of the Stoics to our lives, we can learn to overcome laziness, procrastination, and dependence on external pleasures. Each step along the way brings us closer to inner harmony and true happiness. Don't be afraid of change. It is part of your growth. Start taking action now and let each day be a step towards a better version of you.